way. And the condition number is last condition, where we are pressing both the switches, where I am pressing the S1, I am pressing the S2. So the circuit is now in a working. But you try to see this, we would expect basically that as we press both the switches S1 and S2, we are getting IE, we are getting IB, and we are getting IC. By the way, the result is surprising here, that I is very large, IB is very small, and IC is large. So this is the, you can say, basic structure of the transistor working. Now the very important definition is the Bayes transportation factor. The ratio of number of electrons arriving at collector to the number of emitted electron is known as a Bayes transformation factor. See, the very important component is the alpha DC of the transistor. So basically IC is the collector current which is flowing through the collector terminal, is related by the emitter current by alpha DC plus ICBO. As I told you, ICBO is the leakage current. So IC is related with IE and ICBO like this. You write down this equation for alpha DC IE by moving this ICBO towards the left. So it becomes alpha DC IE equal to IC minus ICBO. So now you move this IE towards the denominator. So IDC becomes IC minus ICBO upon IE. Normally what happens, the ICBO, as I told you, is the leakage current. The amount of this current is too less, means IC is very much higher than the ICBO. One can ignore this ICBO by removing this ICBO from this equation. One may get IDC equal to IC upon IE. So one can say IDC is the ratio of collector current to the emitter current. The thinner the, you can say, your more lightly doped the base, the greater is the value of alpha DC. But remember carefully, the alpha DC value never exceed the unity value. Here is the one example. I may skip this example for a while. So basically there are three configurations of the transistor. You can say depends on the three terminals of the transistor. One is the common base configuration of the transistor, another is the common emitter configuration of the transistor, and second is the common collector configuration of the transistor. So common base configuration, where base is common in input and output mode. You are giving your input towards the, from the input, the positive of your input is connected to the emitter and the negative of your input is connected to the base. Same way, you are taking your output from the collector, where positive of your output is connected to the collector and negative of your output is connected to the base. So one can say base is common in input and output. That's why this configuration is considered as a common base configuration. Next configuration is a common emitter configuration, where emitter is common in your input and your output. So this is your input, you are applying your input at the base terminal, positive of your input is connected to the base and the negative of your input is connected to the emitter. The collector is connected with the positive of your output and the negative of your output is connected to the emitter. So emitter is common in your input and your output. That's why this configuration is known as a common emitter configuration. And the last configuration is the CC configuration, which is known as a common collector configuration. Common collector configuration, where you can say collector is common between base and your emitter. So input is applied at the base collector junction and output is taken from the emitter collector junction. This is the common emitter configuration. See, this is the you can say present one picture or explanation I will show you with the software later on. See, this is the analysis of the simple transistorized circuit. See, this is the R1 and this is the R2, which are known as a potential divider resistor. This is, one can say, RC, which is the collector resistor, and this is the RE, which is the emitter resistor. This is the VCC, which is a biasing voltage. So if you try to write down the potential equation starting from VCC to the ground, so VCC equal to the current flowing through this RC is IC. So ICRC, potential developed here, this is a collector terminal of the transistor, this is the emitter terminal of the transistor. So potential developed between collector and emitter is the VCE. So ICRC plus VCE plus IERE will give you VCC. But normally this is the current whatever you will get at the RE is IE, but the maximum dependence of IE is on IC. So one can say the value of IC is more or less equal to IE. So one can remove this IE and one can put in place of IC. So by keeping this VCE over here, we can combine this ICRC, and this is I in place of I we can put IC. So ICRE, we can take IC common, and this is how we can write down our equation for IC. But see, very important thing is that if you write down this equation for VCE, suppose, so VCC as it is, and you move this IC RC plus RE towards the left, then your VCE becomes VCC minus IC in bracket RC plus RE, and this will be used in this. See friends, as we apply input voltage to the base of the transistor, this is the input voltage what we are applying to the base of the transistor. Due to this base voltage, we are having some base current, okay, is certain less amount of current compared to this voltage. This is the base current. Due to this base current, there will be certain collector current, but very important thing is that as there is a rise in collector current, there will be decrement in VCE is observed, and this is because of this. As I told you, if you move this term towards the left over here, VCE equal to VCC minus this. So as the IC increases, VC decreases, because IC towards the left becomes minus term. So as the IC increases, VC decreases, and this is the, one can say, is the very important conclusion of the transistor. It is that in case of transistor, if you apply input like this, if you apply input voltage like this, your output voltage will be like this. So in a one line, one can say the input and output are 180 degree out of phase. So to come back to the original state, what one can do, you can put another transistor from the output of the transistor. So you are getting again 360 degree phase difference, and this is the drawback when you are using this transistor as an oscillator. Basically the use of transistor will be there in the amplifiers and in oscillators, but for the oscillator design, for the sustained oscillation as per the Barkhausen criteria, your feedback should be, you can say, positive. If it is a negative feedback, then the oscillations will die up, and for that you need, you can say, positive feedback. And to get this positive feedback, there are two ways. One way is to use the output of the one of the transistor is given to the input of the another transistor. First transistor will give you 180 degree out of phase, and the second transistor again gives 180 degree out of phase. So total becomes 360. And another way of getting back the 360 phase difference is to use 3 RC pairs. One RC pair after the transistor gives 60 degree phase difference. Second way is to, you use second RC pair which gives you 120 degree out of phase, and such a way you go for the third RC pair. So one RC pair gives you 60 degree phase difference. You go for 3 RC pairs where we are getting 60 into 3 equal to 180 degree out of phase. So first of all, there is a transistor which gives you 180 degree and 3 RC pairs which gives you another 180 degree out of phase. So total it becomes 180 plus 180, 360, and this becomes the positive feedback for the oscillators. But this is the basic fundamentals when we go for the use of transistor as an oscillator. Now friends, this is the transistor equivalent circuit. So if one want to convert any transistor as circuit into the equivalent circuit, so as I told you, these are the two resistors R1 and R2 which are behaving as a potential divided network. This is RC, is a collector resistor. This is a RE which is known as emitter resistor. This is a CC which is a coupling capacitor. This is a CE which is known as a bypass capacitor, is to bypass the AC components, and this is again CC which is known as the coupling capacitor. Now if you want to convert these particular circuit into the AC equivalent circuit, there is a two things one need to remember. First thing is to minimize the DC power supply to the ground. So whenever you are having any DC power supply, you make this DC power supply ground. And the number 2, you remove all the capacitor by short circuit. So I remove this CC, putting only single line. This is the CC. In place of this CC, what I can do, I am removing it and directly putting wire. But you try to see, as I put the short circuit, I put single wire, this CC single wire, which gives you 0 resistance, and this RE and the resistance offered by this wire, single wire, simple wire, is becomes only resistance of this wire. So you can remove this RE. So here there is a no RE. So by removing this VCC, making it ground, so R1 comes to here, and your RC is somewhere here. RL, you can say, remains as it is. So this is the, you can say, transistorized equivalent circuit. This is the transistorized equivalent circuit, and one can write down the circuit like this. This is a Ri, which is known as a input resistance offered by this R1 and R2 and the base of the transistor. This is the combination of these two resistors, and that offers the RO. But beta of the transistors, as I told you, beta of the transistor is nothing but beta equal to IC upon IB. Beta equal to IC upon IB. So IC equal to beta IB. So this is the collector current. This is the collector current, which is denoted by beta IB. Now we are having total 4 important parameters for the transistor, which are known as the transistor H parameters, and these 4 H parameters depends on these two equations, where V1 equal to H11 I1 plus H12 V2 and I2 equal to H21 I1 plus H22 V2. So if you want to find out this H11, you put V2 equal to 0. Suppose V2 is not there, you write down for H11. So H11 becomes V1 upon I1. H11 becomes V1 upon I1. Voltage input current is known as a ratio of input voltage to the input current is the input impedance. If you want to find out H21, you put V2 equal to 0. So it becomes I2 upon I1. So output current by input current, that becomes forward current ratio. It becomes forward current ratio. If you want to find out H12 equal to V1 by V2. But if you want to find out H12, your I1 should be 0. So your H12 equal to V1 by V2, which is known as a reverse voltage ratio. And finally one can say H22 equal to I2 upon V2, which is a output admittance. Now let me see certain simple simulations. Okay. As I told you, this one is the, you can say, LEDs available in the market, which is a white LED. These are the different types of colors of the LED. And this one is the Zener diode. This one is, you can say, transistor. This one is the one of the transistor. This is the diode. One is the positive and this one is the negative. The silver color, you can say, one mark over here is a negative indication of this diode. This is a diode. As I told you, nowadays in a market, we are getting the regulator ICs. These are 3-terminal, one of the regulator 7805, which is used to give 5 volt constant. And dear friends, this is the, you can say, 7-segment LED, where these are the LEDs, 7-segment displays. One observes on a more or applications where there is a, you can say, LEDs are used or particular positions. These are A segment, these are B, C, D, E, like this, and these are DP. But this is very important component as far as the electronic projects are concerned. This is a relay which are used for the electronic circuitries. Now let I show you certain simulations of the diode. Thank you.
Sandhan, All Gujarat Integrated Classroom.
સેટેલાઇટના માધ્યમથી જોડતી કડી એટલે સંધાન.